These are the type of stores that are in our community, and that's why we base our food deserts, because these type of supermarkets that do not have fresh produce. These are the type of stores that are in our community, and that's why we base our food deserts, because these type of supermarkets that do not have fresh produce. To Langston Hughes Charter School. This is one of the charter schools that we have the schoolyard garden located in, and I'd like to show you what the garden consists of.
My name is Ben Morin, and I'm one of the network gardeners at the Edible Schoolyard. So this at Langston Hughes Academy, this is one of 5 schools that we have gardened.
It's a program?
And we use the Dillard greenhouse to create our starts for all of the gardens across the network. And this is LHA. This is the school that has a partnership between the botany class at Dillard and the kids here. So
students from Langston have the opportunity to come to Dillard to visit our greenhouse. And the greenhouse, these plants and vegetables that you see are seeded at Dillard. And while the kids are at Dillard, through our biology department, they're learning about botany and biology.
I think that there's so many different ways to plan a garden to make it just a really good educational tool for just learning about how the way about the way the world works, just learning science through the garden, and just having really fun, creative ways of growing plants that can teach different lessons aside from just food. But of course, the food is there too. When you teach kids about all these different vegetables, they know what they are, and they're not going to shy away from eating them when they're adults. And you can hear kids that just get really excited and say that they love arugula, which I didn't even know what arugula was till I was like 23. So it's great to see these young kids that know these kind of obscure vegetables already, and they'll be eating them well into their adulthood.
Dr. Amy Lesson in the biology department at Dillard University. I'm an associate professor of biology here at Dillard, and this is the Dillard Greenhouse, which has been here for about 2 years, since about 2010. And the greenhouse is used for mostly educational purposes. And right now we have 2 major projects going on in here. One is these plants are all being grown by the Edible Schoolyard New Orleans, and they use these at the schools all over the city. A lot of these are herbs and vegetables. Some of these are ornamental plants. And they teach about gardening and urban gardening all over the city at schools, multiple schools. And Mr. Nick Harris and I have a project that we're working on, especially with the Langston Hughes Academy, which is right down the street, not far from Dillard. Last semester, the students were working with my botany class here, and we were working on some experiments and doing work in the greenhouse together. And this semester, the Langston Hughes students are still coming, and I have other students who are working with them. And it's really important because there's a lot of Dillard students who've never worked with plants before. They've never gotten their hands in the dirt. They've never planted a seed. They've never seen what their food looks like growing. They've never seen what a plant looks like growing from a seed all the way to a mature plant. And there's a lot of different things that we can do here in the greenhouse. I'm doing an experiment down here with 2 of my classes where we're adding things to the soil to see if it'll affect the plants. We have another experiment with my ecology class where we're growing a lot of different plants together in the same pot to see if that'll affect the way they grow. So students can really get a lot of hands-on experience here and really learn a lot about biology and about in the environment. And we can also teach them, with our partnership with the Edible Schoolyard, about urban gardening, which is really important in New Orleans because there are a lot of food deserts in New Orleans, and working with the young kids from Langston Hughes and with Dillard students is a good way to raise awareness and educate the folks in New Orleans about food and eating more healthful food, eating vegetables, what it's like to grow your own vegetables, and how you can take that into your own hands by doing your own gardening right here in the city.
Food deserts are identified by the Department of Health as any geographic area within a city where the residents are unable to purchase and acquire healthy food choices such as fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean meats, etc. The only food that they have access to are the type of food that's sold at convenience stores and liquor stores. Generally, this tends to be processed food, processed meat, sausage, hot dogs, things of this nature. And it's generally food that's very high in fat, high in calories, high in salt. Basically all the things that the Food and Drug Administration tells us that we should be avoiding. And so and also keep in mind, low-income areas generally, people don't have access to transportation. People don't have access to vehicles. Normally, the public transportation routes are not as well developed in the low-income areas. So consequently, people have, it's not like people can just, hop on the subway and go to the supermarket. Normally, the closest supermarket where there's fresh fruits and vegetables is very difficult to get to. So as a result of that, these people don't have any other options. They're looking for food except to go to the liquor store or to the convenience store. So their only real food options available to them on a daily basis are going to be the processed foods, which are high in salt, high in fat, high in calories. So that's what they eat because that's the only options that they have. Community gardens are important for several reasons. The first reason why community gardens are important is because it allows the community the opportunity to take control of its own food sources. So once a community, and you don't have to be, you can be a low-income community, you can be a middle-income community, it doesn't matter what the income level of the community is, everybody can have a community food garden if they're provided with the resources to set it up and they're willing to put in the labor to take care of it.
My name is Dr. Kelly Owens, and I'm a visiting assistant professor and program coordinator of urban studies and public policy here at Dillard University.
Good evening. My name is Nick Harris, director of the Dillard University Community Relations.
The project that the students are working on is in collaboration with the Community Development Corporation, and the focus is on eliminating food deserts in the Gentilly community.
Working with the Urban Studies Department through a special project that they're working on, we have the opportunity of driving through the Gentilly community and identifying and understanding why this is a food desert. And a food desert is a location where it's more than 5 miles to the nearest fresh supermarket where you can get fresh produce. And after Katrina, there was no such type supermarket available. And so this community has been inundated with a number of fast food restaurants and corner supermarkets and stores, I would say, something quick and fast for people to go and pick up. And Gentilly being a low to medium income community, that we knew that was very important to start an educational type program on nutrition and healthy food.
Students are not only conducting the research, but they're also identifying solutions. And one of the solutions is around the idea of community gardening. And so the students have visited some of the schools in the neighborhood that have actually started community gardens. And so these elementary school students are gaining exposure to the idea of healthy produce that can be grown in their own backyards, thus eliminating the need to have to rely on the grocery stores for these products. And being able to have this hands-on experience will hopefully, change the dynamics with respect to health conditions that you find in these same communities where food deserts exist.
Research that the students in the Urban Studies Department is currently doing in the Gentilly area is very important. That research is going to be used later in order for us to help to plan workshops, to draft brochures and information, to plan future projects for the community relating to health fairs, and also just to address the needs of the community.
I'm very proud of the students because they've approached this particular issue with a lot of creativity, and they've been identifying different ways to make all of these connections. For example, there will be cooking demonstrations. The students are going to participate in a health-based festival where they will survey residents to get a better understanding about the choices that residents have and the choices that residents are making with respect to healthy foods.
With all of this, we have our seventh annual Health and Sports Festival, which will be held on April the 6th, on Saturday, April the 6th of 2013. And it's a great program. We have over 40, actually over 50 exhibitors, health related medical companies that will be out here. We have a basketball game, a number of sport events for the kids. Healthy cooking demonstrations would take place on that particular day. We have food booths, musical entertainment, and something for the entire family. But most of all, it's free and open to the public. We always assume that people know what services are available to them in the community, but this is an opportunity for all the social service agencies and medical agencies that's within the city of New Orleans to be in one place. It's a one-stop shop, and to provide information to the general public. And so we have surveys going on, and then we're expecting close to 300 people to be out on this particular day. And I'm really excited about it, but more excited about to see our students at Dillard University get involved with this community outreach initiative, and one that's so very important to the survival of our community and now to the health of these people. So with all the work that's been going on over the last 4 months, working with the Urban Studies Department and the students in Urban Studies and the instructor, it has been a very rewarding experience, not only for myself but also for the students to actually get the real life experience of what's going on in the community, a community in which they also live but may have not known exactly what was going on within their community as far as something as simple as eating well.